Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated.
Trustee Paparelli?
Here.
Trustee Thomas? Here. Trustee Grasso?
Here.
Trustee Wright? Here. Mayor Fair?
Here, just so everyone knows, we do have people also on Zoom. Anthony, if there's anybody has questions or comments on Zoom, just trying to alert the board, so I don't want anybody to ignore someone. As we go through the calendar, if you have any questions on the individual calendar statements, by all means, come forward and be heard. At the end of the meeting, we'll be open for public comment, public discussion. Resolution 196, Ms. Clerk.
Resolution 196-21, Mayor's appointment to the planning board.
I move the resolution. Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Fair?
Yes.
Resolution 197-21, minutes.
Move the resolution. Second. Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 198-21, accept donation.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 199-21, budget amendment fiscal year 21-22.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 200-21, tax certs.
Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 201-21, bid award.
Move the resolution. Second. Board. Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 202-21, accept proposal.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 203-21, install signage.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 204-21, claim settlements.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 205-21, temporary street closures.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 206-21, unit 2 reclassification.
Move the resolution. Second. Comments from the board? Comments from the public? Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas? Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Resolution 207-21, payment of audit vouchers.
Hereby move that the abstract of budget documents and paid senior citizens be budget down, move the resolution.
Second. Roll call.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes. Before we close the meeting, I'd like the public to take note of the upcoming meetings through the end of 2021. For November and December are posted. I need a motion to close.
Motion closed.
Second. Roll call.
Trustee Paparelli?
Yes.
Trustee Thomas?
Yes.
Trustee Grasso?
Yes.
Trustee Wright?
Yes.
Mayor Fair?
Yes. At this time, we are open for public comments. Come forward, please. Yeah. Microphone should be on.
Prepared to pull it up.
No problem.
How's everyone doing there?
Very
Regarding cannabis, so don't use retail sales. All right, my name is Carl Montefiore, and I am a small business owner for the past 5 years. Also a veteran of the United States Army, a service disabled veteran, and an 11-year veteran of the New York City Fire Department. As well as a prospective candidate for cannabis retail sales here in Long Island. Also a father of 3 wonderful children. Before anyone here says I don't care about the children, I have 3 kids myself, all right? Some objections I've heard, are as follows. A lot of people are worried about traffic accidents, if we allow cannabis sales over here. Let me remind everyone that the Shinnecock Native American Reservation has just entered into an $18 million deal with a multi-state operation for cannabis sales. Meaning, people could be driving across Long Island forgetting their cannabis. Either way, no matter what, let's not, if we really care about the traffic accidents, let's shorten the ride and have access for people around here.
Okay, don't worry, please don't.
And also preventing sales to children, right, and minors. Preventing child access to retail dispensaries is quite easy. Article 4, Section 8, subsection 2 of the MRTA states, no licensee shall sell any cannabis product to anyone under 21. This is done through a 2-step verification process that every cannabis dispensary in the country uses. You get checked in at the door, you get checked in at the register. If at any moment the state or federal issued ID does not work, upon scanning or the physical copy does not match the virtual copy, the consumer will not be allowed to purchase cannabis products inside or even allowed inside for that. Let me also bring your attention to Article 4, Section 78 of the MRTA that states the responsibilities of retail locations they must adhere to, which include adopting and maintaining a strict security system, adopting and maintaining a strict tracking system, adopting and maintaining a strict record-keeping system, adopting and maintaining a strict surveillance system, and also record-keeping relating to cannabis sales. So, by having a retail dispensary in town undercuts the illegal cannabis market as well. And by preventing the illegal sale of cannabis on the black market, children will not have access to acquire cannabis. But by opting out of cannabis sales, the naturally curious mind of children will have a larger access to cannabis on the illegal market. And let me remind you that the cannabis on the illegal market is not tested for chemicals, hard metals, or other lethal substances that can be added to and be very dangerous to cannabis consumers at any age. Article 4, Section 86 of the MRTA states that any marketing, very small amount that is allowable, cannot be marketed towards children or be appealing to persons less than 21 years of age and or populations at risk of increased adverse health consequences as determined by the board and regulation. Everyone in this room knows that driving while intoxicated is a horrible decision. We don't need to go over that. Everyone in this room also knows that education is the #1 tool against DWI. Adult use cannabis retail dispensaries are also a center for cannabis education. Article 4, Section 85, subsection 11, the MRTA states, retail education facilities shall make educational materials and resources readily available to cannabis consumers. The board of the town must realize that it has residents that are cannabis consumers. And with the state legalization of adult use cannabis, it brings a burden of safety and responsibility to its town. How can the board say, one, it's legal for adult use, but then at the same token, do not allow consumers a safe location for purchase, as well as a safe location for cannabis consumption? And this location, as a reminder, all locations are also a center for cannabis education and safety. And also a safe location, so by opting out of retail sales, the town knowingly puts its candidates consumers at risk of the inherent risk that comes with the illegal black market that they will be forced to get cannabis at. I urge the board to do the right thing and reconsider and allow retail sales of cannabis. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fiore, and I appreciate it. Further comments from the public? Good evening. Sure.
Hi, my name is Linda Dardis. I'm a homeowner here and I work in the legal profession. I just wanted to address, I'm also here to address the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act. We all know that other so-called vices such as cigarettes and gambling are legalized and regulated in New York State. So marijuana should be regulated in the same way. It should have a limit as to where it can be purchased. There should be age limit. There should be a limit where it can be consumed, exactly like cigarettes and alcohol. There could be cannabis clubs, products consumed inside. How many bars allow patrons to stand around outside and drink alcohol without some special permit to do so? Why should cannabis clubs be any different if they are allowed to come into excuse me. You cannot smoke cigarettes in a park, on Long Island Railroad platforms, inside most commercial buildings, restaurants, or bars. Likewise, cannabis should not be smoked or consumed in these same locations. I've heard people say, I don't want to have to smell that skunk smell, and I should not have to. Well, guess what? I'm not a cigarette smoker, and I don't want to smell or inhale your secondhand smoke either. I find it just as disgusting as you seem to feel the scent of marijuana is. And I have less rights than a cigarette smoker does, because you can smoke publicly, and all I can do to avoid it is to get away from you as quickly as possible. But realize, it's just as inconvenient, infringing on my right to clean air, bothersome and worrisome to non-cigarette smokers. Contrary to the claims of opponents, consuming marijuana does not make the individual turn violent or become aggressive. It's usually quite the opposite. Alcohol is an addictive substance, so are cigarettes, yet they're completely legal to buy, sell, and consume. Both can kill you if you consume too much for too long. I have yet to hear of an old stoner dying from liver that's been destroyed. To those who claim permitting the sale and consumption of marijuana will result in our teenagers getting their hands on recreational marijuana and attend school under the influence. You obviously have no idea how easy it is to purchase marijuana right now on the black market. If teens in Valley Stream want to buy weed, they already know where to get it. So why take it? Let's take it out of the hands of the black market and place it in a regulated environment. Those who fear teenagers will have older individuals buying cannabis for them from dispensaries, how many of you had an older brother, sister, or cousin who bought beer for you when you were underage? Kids are buying unregulated substances which could contain carcinogens, pesticides, and fillers. I want everyone to remember an incident from a couple of years ago. Cannabis oil from the black market sickened people with a pneumonia-like illness and even killed a number of people who vaped this oil. The reason that they were ill and died is that it was tainted with vitamin E oil. Vitamin E oil, while safe to ingest, is not safe to be inhaled. Without a black market and a regulated market, something like this will not happen again. Products sold to the black market are not tested for safety or quality. Products sold to a dispensary are. People are going to smoke pot, whether people in this room like it or not, just like there are those who will continue smoking cigarettes despite all this health warnings. Lastly, and the most important consideration is the great potential for bringing much needed revenue into this community. We are right on Sunrise Highway, so convenient for patrons to pass through and stop for a purchase. The marijuana MRTA provides for a 4% sales tax on cannabis products sold. Of that 4%, 25% goes to Nassau County. However, 75% of that which is collected goes to the village or the municipality. It doesn't take a lot for scientists to see the opportunity there. Why would this community pass up a guaranteed income stream? Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Starks, I appreciate it. For the public, sir?
Good evening. My name is George Gadd. I'm also here to talk about cannabis. Two previous speakers did a very good job, about 2 to 3. I just wanted to mention what I think the background is with this opt-in, opt-out program. There's a lack of information for the community. I hear a lot of people talking about negative health benefits that marijuana may have on especially teens or older adults. I fear that they are not informed. Harvard Medical School put out a study that mentions all the health benefits with hurricane flu, driving to hurricane, prevention of seizures, relief of migraine, and also currently in study, which is being done, to see if THC, which is the active ingredient in marijuana, can slow, if not completely stun and stop cancer growth as well as tumor growth. I'd also like to mention my co-founder, who is a veteran, cannot access marijuana right now due to the federal illegalization of this product. What I mean by that is certain veterans who suffer from mental illness such as PTSD, depression, or anxiety cannot have marijuana prescribed or recommended to them based on its federally illegal status through the VA. By allowing this program to pass and opting into marijuana sales, you can help veterans access this cannabis to help them with their mental health issues, as well as keeping it accessibly, safe, and legally and regulated without having these people have to go to a black market, as previously mentioned. I'd like to conclude tonight with a question. Since cannabis is already in our communities and in the hands of consumers, would you want future transactions to be regulated, taxed, and transparent, or do you want to continue to let criminals control the market in the legal manner? Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Garrett. I appreciate
Thank
it.
you.
I understand we have some Zoom questions.
Yeah, we have two people who would like to speak. So Rebecca first, I will ask to unmute her.
Yeah.
Okay, and then I may need to raise the volume on the speaker real fast. Okay, Rebecca, can you speak?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello, okay, hi, good evening. I just wanted to make a comment in terms of,
Identify your name and address, please.
okay, it's Rebecca Vargas, and I live at 11 Hancock Place here in Valley Stream. Okay, so, what is it? I can't hear.
Go ahead, begin.
Okay. At the last meeting, the last public meeting, someone had made a comment about, they were asking that the dispensaries not be relegated to industrial areas due to safety concerns. And I'm actually here to ask the same about commercial zones. I live in a C2 commercial zone and I'm surrounded by fabricators, a construction company. This area gets very desolate after 6 p.m. And I know there's other areas in Valley Stream like where I live. And I would ask that the village require dispensaries and these kind of, lounges or whatever to be in prominent locations like Rockaway, Merrick, Sunrise, and not tucked away in these little areas like where I live, for example, right? I live off of Merrick behind TD Bank. In that case, I feel like it would be, might create a situation of criminality because this area does get very desolate. And in fact, the TD Bank here has been robbed multiple times. So like an area like mine, I'm very afraid to have a dispensary or something like that be open. Even though it's a commercial area, it's really kind of like a desolate, it's more like an industrial area. So I would just ask that any dispensaries that you please consider putting them in prominent locations that are well lit and well populated all the time, even up into, late at night, and not in a kind of isolated area. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Vargas. I appreciate it. We had another comment on.
Yes, Christina Arroyo is next. I'll ask to unmute her.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Yep. My name is Christina Arroyo. I live in 64 Gibson Boulevard, Valley Stream. And I've attended a couple of these meetings before held by the Vincent Grasso and then the last meeting. And I'm not in any means or even close to an expert in cannabis or in the cannabis business or in work regarding cannabis. But I wanted to bring up the idea of the fact that I've heard in a lot of these meetings, some of our elected officials and other people who are expressing their opinions, they're basing it on anecdotal evidence, which is not something we should be basing our decisions on. We shouldn't be basing it on anecdotal evidence. We shouldn't be basing it on, oh, I heard that my cousin or my uncle's friend did this and then this happened. And what I want to request from the board and from the people who are in charge of disseminating information across the town and across the citizens regarding the decisions, whichever the decision will make, is that they base it on evidence-based research and they base it on expert opinions, as well as whenever they hear or come across any kind of false narratives or myths regarding cannabis, for them to address it and not perpetuate them. So I guess my point is that I would express the idea of listening to people who know about this stuff, who've dealt with this stuff. And I've listened to a lot of Valley Streamers who've come to the meetings, and there are a lot of them who are very well versed. And therefore go from that jumping off point of the science and the expertise rather than on the emotional narratives and myths that we've heard to perpetuate certain things that are myths of cannabis. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Arroyo. Are there other comments on Zoom, Anthony?
There were two other comments. Catherine Chenkis said, I would not like to speak, but agree with everyone speaking so far. For the record, pro opting in. And George also said pro opting in. Well done, speakers.
Are there further comments from the public in the room?
Hello, I'm Peter Belcher from Boyd Avenue. I'm just a resident this time, that's fine. So, yeah, I mean, just to follow up on what everyone else has said, you know, I am against opting out for this village as far as cannabis is concerned. I think what would be nice to see, like what other people said, was that there are these dispensaries in, you know, a common commercial areas, Rockaway, Area Central. I think, you know, if we're gonna follow the market, you know, the market's dictated. And, you know, government should not necessarily get involved. I think the state law is good. I think, you know, like everyone else said, you know, it's for 21 over. I think, you know, as it should be responsible. That's that. So.
Thank you very much, Mr. Peltier. Appreciate it. Further comments from the public? Keep on. Perfect.
Can I ask a question?
Maybe.
Have you guys read the MRTA at all?
Most of it, we received multiple presentations, both pro and con, multiple PowerPoints, multiple information. The board's been trying its best to do its due diligence and learn all aspects of the situation.
So did you read like the Marijuana Regulation and Taxation Act?
David, did you forward that to all of us?
Forward links, yes, but not the whole.
Right, I believe it was bullet points from that. Yeah, so, did we read every sentence? No, but we received much information from David regarding the law.
Well, my comment would be to just read the law and make your own opinion. Don't let secondary reason, whatever they have. The reason why I'm coming to it is because I read it. And I was like, I agree with that. But I don't know. I think it's a long thing, but it's worth it. Because there's a lot of people say stuff, a lot of citizens say stuff, a lot of people against people say stuff, a lot of people that are for it that aren't citizens and say stuff too. And there are a lot of things that fit in the Venn diagram and the center. There's going to be a lot of things that are on opposite ends. But a lot of times in the same the city. So, but I feel like as government-wise goes, tax money is nice. But that, as someone who is getting my sister who's here, and my nephew is here, and the dog is here, and, you know, that would be really good, and it'd be dope. It'd be like, yeah, I live in Valley Stream. It's better than that Oyster Bay place or whatever. But in a business person perspective, I would say if you're gonna opt out, then it's then I'll just move on to the next town. So say yes. But something that has come from Massachusetts, over there municipalities that did opt in were a lot of the border towns, you know, towns that were a little bit less money, and a lot of cultivators and manufacturers and B2B businesses came in. They started doing pretty well. They have survived the whole state right now. And a lot of other businesses coming in are going into municipalities that opted in on the first round of it, because a lot of the other municipalities that said, oh, sorry, oh shit, they're making a lot of money, from this, they're like, oh, let's make our own zoning for this now, and what businesses in. And they got greedy with it, and they took in the whole community agreements, and their zoning and their basic extra laws for having cannabis business to another level, to a point where it just, for a lot of businesses, they said, no, we're gonna travel the extra 20 miles and, go, to the less, populated area for our stuff. So, just something for you guys to know for the future. But again, just go on you can have a website for it. New York State's got a website for it. NewYorkState.gov, and you can read the MRTA, and I really and then you can make your own opinion. But the gentleman before, the first guy, so he literally cited, like he read parts of it, comprehensive, super comprehensive. So I promise you, check it out. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I have a comment from Trustee Thomas.
May I just add one thing?
1 second, comment from Trustee Thomas.
You can go ahead, Mr. Jordan.
No, I thought you were closing, I apologize.
No, it's okay, my question is actually for you, so if you want to come back up.
Absolutely. I'm glad, because I didn't know you guys didn't read the MRTA. That's my nighttime reading material. All right, it's only 128 pages. My 7-year-old has read books bigger than this. So I'm really quite embarrassed to be standing up here in front of you, trying to educate you guys on the safeguards that the MRTA has when it comes to adult use cannabis retail sales. Let's not use the word marijuana, all right, because that is a racial slur for Mexicans who smoke cannabis. So let's just take that right off the table, okay? Because now I'm getting a little aggravated at the board that we pay tons of taxes to, hasn't read the act that's come out in January. You have 10 months to read this, guys, 10 months.
Is this your persuasive argument?
No, I'm just angry, my problem, all right? So anyway, MRTA has plenty of safeguards for the town, all right? And I just highlighted a few that really stood out when I, read it, but I really suggest you guys go through it tonight. There's a bunch of articles. Article 4 is a really important article in the MRTA. I really suggest you focus your attention tonight on Article 4 of the MRTA. That's just unacceptable. And you have a question, I apologize.
We have a question. So I understand you're a business owner.
Yes.
What kind of business are you in?
Right now, I'm in home maintenance and repair.
Is your business here in Rochester?
No.
So my question, so it's interesting. I'm glad you're a business owner and you obviously know a lot about this. I thought I would just want by feedback. I happen to be in California last week and I saw a couple of friends who live in the Baldwin Hills area, Los Angeles metropolitan area. And what they shared with me was, I thought was interesting. I know it's not New York, so I want to try to bucket it in the right place and understand that their experience may not happen here, but it's still the experience that I could get feedback on. So what they noted is that, and they're in the more advanced state, of course, what they noticed is that businesses have really, that business is really taking off. So a lot of people are going into the, I don't want to call it marijuana business, it's probably not, but I can't think of what else to call it. Cannabis business. Like, a lot of people have decided to go into cannabis business. And what they notice is that many places like coffee shops, or Starbucks, or whatever local coffee shops have actually closed, and the cannabis business is open in its place. And so from their perspective, and they're not anti-cannabis, these are folks that are actually okay with it, but their reaction to it was, well, I just want to go get a cup of coffee, and now I can't get a cup of coffee or do something social because there's like this saturation now. So a lot of people are jumping into the cannabis business because it's an important business and people are, it looks profitable. It makes sense, right? This is people want to go to what profit can be, where you can make profit. But I took from that, business should be concerned about that. If too many people jump in, what does the base of the village look like? Do all of our, does, or even our Starbucks and Limburg, and these when they're down with the pot. But the point is, social areas in Valley Stream, would they become victims of this? maybe that's not the right word either, but would people choose to open a cannabis store in places to get a coffee shop? And what impact would that have? What do you think about that as a business owner who's kind of thinking about, and you think about the market sector, what we care about is the overall face of the building, right? We don't care about just one particular thing. We're not pro one thing. We're pro village. We want the village to be the most diverse, interesting, entertaining, exciting place for everyone. If we create an atmosphere where one business becomes the business, then obviously we lose that. Of course, like how do you address that? How do you deal with that kind of thing?
Trustee Thomas, I want to thank you for that question. That's an excellent question. First of all, I think you said that you were in California. If New York State looks at California as a guiding light when it comes to cannabis business, New York State will fail before we start, okay? So I'm going to start off like that. If we look at other states, such as Massachusetts, they have limited amounts of licenses that the state is allowed to give for each type of license. Let's just focus on retail sales right now. All right, so New York State will and can put a limit on the amount of licenses they will hand out for the first year. Okay, let's say that number is 75 licenses for retail sales across the state the first year. 51%, of course, for socioeconomic gain. All right, so that means we're having 75 across the state. So we're not inundating any communities with that. All right, so the state, will have safeguards to prevent that by limiting the amount of licenses that the state will give out. And also, you stated these businesses, will turn the face of the town, into just what's preventing that, right? A lot of states, and I hope that we do follow some of the eastern states, like Massachusetts is a great state to look forward, except for the fact that they do vertical integration and we don't, which is great that we don't. But if you look towards them, each license holder is allowed 3 locations in each store. So they set a limit per business on how many locations they can have. And their businesses have to be associated into a light industrial zoning area. So it's not going to be in Main Street. So that's what Massachusetts is doing. So I really hope that New York State is focusing more, looking more at Massachusetts and not California, Colorado, Oregon, because they have a horrible system over there, and cannabis businesses are actually going under because they're inundated with cannabis business like that. It's flooding right now. And they just had a big raid, they have illegal markets going on over there, and they shouldn't, because cannabis is legal, for adult use, and they shouldn't have a black market. But they do, a huge black market, because they just didn't start off for it. So I would say, to answer your question in short, New York State will limit the amount of licenses that it will give out, and before it grants anyone a license, they will contact that board. All right, so if I apply for a license in Valley Stream, I have anywhere from 30 to 269 days to notify Valley Stream that I plan on opening up a location name. All right, I tell you why. I'm a socioeconomic candidate. I plan on giving 25% to drug and alcohol treatment centers. I plan on getting this percentage of this. Philanthropy stuff, so to make my application appealing, and for the MRTA state that any retail cannabis business has to give out to underserved areas, right? So I tell you guys, this is what I plan on doing, all right? You guys have to notify New York State where you give me the approval or denial of my license. So you guys actually are in control of the amount of licenses that you want Valley Stream to have. But you also have to give a reasoning for why you have that denial. All right, so it can't be just, we don't like this haircut or whatever. It's not like that. You have to have reasoning why you gave the denial. And one of those reasoning is these locations can't be within a certain distance from a place of religious observation or a church. So that's also a thing that will prevent the base of Valley Stream from turning into the basic cannabis market. I hope that answers some of your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Mayor.
Any other questions?
Are there other comments from the public?
Hi. Tell me about it. Okay, I have a few comments.
Just identify yourself, please.
My name is Nancy Adams. Lived in Valley Stream for over 40 years. My kid went to Box, went to South, you might know them, and sold the kids to sale. Okay, so Mr. Collins, I love what you said. This isn't about somebody who wants to make money. This is about quality of life for Valley Stream residents. And I'm going to make a few comments. He spoke about Massachusetts.
I just got back from Salem looking for witches this past weekend.
Did you run in?
No, but I smell plenty of marijuana with my 7-year-old, my 9-year-old, my 11-year-old grandchildren. Disgusting. I will never go back there. A few years ago, before it was legal in New York, going to see a Christmas tree, again, with 5 of my grandchildren, people getting high on the street. I said, you better cut that, excuse me, shit out. I got my grandchildren here. They said something to me. My daughter says, you're gonna get me killed. I said, I don't really care. I don't want that near me. I used to get high in college. Grow up and get over it. We get past that as adults. You know what I mean? You want to get high in your house, buy wherever you need. Valley Stream to me doesn't mean that. My son, who's in his 30s, has a CBD company. He wanted to do the marijuana thing. He got hooked up in California. His friend actually is one of the biggest marijuana dispensaries in California. I said, no way, Kyle. You know Kyle? I don't know if you remember him. No, you're not having part of that. You make money and blacken yourself. People, I've had scientific research, I've done a lot of things on this, memory loss, you know, all kinds of things with marijuana use. That's a whole other issue, whether you want to use it or not, that's another issue. People want to make money, they don't care about quality of life. It's a slippery slope. Now in New York State, people can shoot up on the street, just like in California. That just came down. I don't know if you saw that yesterday. In the New York Post said, the state has now told the police, if you see people with hypodermic needles on the street, shooting up or using them, or even a little bit of substance, you won't have to do anything to them. Take a look at San Francisco. Is that what you're on here? It's a slippery slope. When you start, I mean, we were voted one of the best municipalities for a reason, because people can come here, people are escaping the crap that's in the city and coming here. Now we're gonna bring that garbage here. It doesn't, you know, so my son now does the CBD. Nobody's inhaling it. He got the cream, whatever. So he's not gonna be filthy rich like his friends are. Big deal. You know what I mean? You can't sell yourself for money. To me, quality of life, it's, you know, once you start, where does it stop? People that are doing this, they don't live here, they didn't go to school here, they're not from here, they don't give a crap, they just want to make money. And turn the village into whatever it's gonna turn into. Mitchell's has been there since I was a kid. You know, the rainbow was called Morrison's, I don't know if you remember. You know, and Connie's. This is the way we want the village to look. Not some outsiders or some new residents coming here to help people get high on our streets. You want a barbecue in your backyard and have people getting high? Want the family there? Or my 97-year-old mother there? Does she really need some help? This isn't something where even alcohol, you could say it's one of those in that category. I'm not smelling what you drink. I'm not inhaling what you drink. You know, it's totally separate issues. And it's all about money. People don't care about what Valley Stream is about. I care about what Valley Stream is about. I care about the world that my grandchildren live in. And I can't sell my grandchildren for a few extra bucks because somebody wants to open up a dispensary and make some money.
You have to direct your comments.
You know what I mean? We love it the way it is. And I think, I don't want to see in 10 years, hypodermic needles on the street or, you know, what comes to follow. Because once you open up that can of worms, then somebody else will come and say something else for another reason. You know, and it's just, you know, what you said about California, Mr. Thomas, I agree. I'm not gonna go get a cup of coffee or go to Mitchell's or whatever. If people are hanging out, because if there's a dispensary, people are hanging out. And I don't care what you say. You know, there are people hanging out. And that's not good, to me, that's not good to because, you know, you're gonna force people to move. I wanna move, but if this turns into New York City, I'm gonna move. You know,
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to remind the public that this is not a hearing on cannabis, it's not a debate on cannabis. We have a regular meeting, and there's public comment at the end of the regular meeting. The board hasn't made any decisions yet, we've been researching it for months. Anyone who's been paying attention knows that the board has been studying and getting information and getting all sorts of information on cannabis and other states and New York State, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we really have been doing our due diligence studying, which is public comment at the end of our regular meeting. Because I know it sparks debate. We're not in a debate, we're not in a debate. Further comments from the public?
There are two just quick ones on Zoom. Rebecca Vargas had said, will increased revenue for the village mean more police patrols in the area where dispensaries are located?
No.
And then the second question was, have we discussed zoning and where the dispensaries would be located if VS opts in?
That would be discussed if we opted in. Okay.
Those are the only two questions so far.
Anybody the apple?
Yeah. Hi, George again. Thank you. I just want to make this brief. I know there's an opposing argument saying that a lot of this kind of stuff is about money. I think anyone that's really trying to go into this business would actually see the opposite. I mean, I'm a 21-year-old guy, and me just trying to pursue this business has actually lost me a lot of money. Anyone that wants to regulate the legal market, we're just trying to make a buck, I would say, well, it's much, much easier, as many of us, I think, will know and know, to make money illegally in this market and get money that way rather than going through the struggle of trying to make a legitimate business. I'd also like to point out, words I've heard tonight, quality of life. I think opting in would actually positively impact many people's quality of life due to the tremendous health benefits they have, as well as to your point, Trustee Thomas, I just wanted to add to the diversity. The MRTA states that about 50%, if not more, of all licenses are going to go to either service disabled veterans or minorities who have been directly impacted by these harmful laws. This will actually empower a huge group in diversity through new businesses, new employment, and jobs. So thank you, I just wanted to add to that.
Thank you. Again, Mr. Gates, further comments from the public? Sir?
Good evening, Lord. Well, Michael Weber, I'm 32 West Ocean Boulevard. I'm pro cannabis sales. I think we can opt in for the sales. I don't really have anything to prepare with it. I think it would not only increase revenue for our village, it will also bring on more people, more business support, because we will be doing Rockaway Avenue or Central Avenue, Monticello, any of those commercial areas. So I think this will spur more business. I think it's a good thing. And one thing I'll add, I was in California also last month, and I went to a dispensary. One of the things that I was so surprised about is that I saw 4 women, they looked like they were in their 70s, 80s, and they were looking at creams that were with THC and helping with their back pain. And they were literally talking about which one is better for them, which one do they recommend for each other. So I just think, if they're talking about that and they're in their 70s and 80s, it's not as harmful as we may think it is. So I just want to put that out there. And another thing is, my father uses marijuana. He's a stage 4 kidney disease. It helps him with his pains and whatnot, and helps him with his sleep. I think it's a good thing that he's using it, and that's another reason why I think fans will be closer to him as well to be able to purchase it.
Thank you, Mr. Villanueva. Further comments from the public? Matt?
First, I'd like to say that I am super impressed and touched by the knowledge of our community right now about the actual MRTA. Cannabis is about quality of life. It's about improving a lot of people's quality of life. The MRTA was written specifically to make this a responsible and self-recreational program. I feel that the revitalization of our downtown, of our village, will come from this. We highly underestimate the amount of money that people spend on cannabis, whether it be on the legacy market or the regulated market. This money, as our other people say, it comes right back into the community. And you guys, the board, can control that. The amount of licenses that are going to be issued, you can control that. You can control what it looks like in the community. We make it safer for our community. And as far as this, for people making money, as last gentleman said, this is not about making money. I am a potential micro business candidate, so I can candidate. It will probably bankrupt me to try to make it into business. But if I can do this business in my community and see that money go back into my elementary school, into our civic issues, our streets, our sanitation, it would be incredible. Because we are doing it for ourselves. My children go here, I would like for my children to stay here, when they finish school. It's about building a legacy here, making Valley Street accessible and a place that people want to stay, not run away from. We have all these new constructions that you guys are approving. Let the people that are going to live here because it's close to public transportation, let them spend the money that they're making in the city here, in their own neighborhood. It's all the ancillary businesses, all those money from this, it's incredible. And you guys have to say in what it looks like. So the idea that it's going to be super saturated can't happen. Because they're going to control the number. We don't know what that number looks like yet, but New York State is massive. So who you guys, I do agree. If you get a chance, just read the actual MRTA. Not so bad, but what's written in there is really incredible.
Thank you again. Further, yes.
Couple questions. When is the next meeting going to be for people? I have a lot of scientific evidence that I can even mail you, published evidence, or if you're going to have another meeting. The other thing I wanted to ask, if people want to go in cannabis business, why does it have to be Valley Stream? I mean, they're fighting so hard for Valley Stream. She thinks, the last woman thinks it's a great quality of life for everybody to be high on the street, people hanging out. It might be, but not in Valley Stream. You could open up a lot of other places on Long Island. Why does it have to be Valley Stream? So when is the next meeting going to be? For
I think what we're going to do tonight, and this is something that everybody here is discussing, is very compelling both sides of the argument. I think tonight is a good night that I want to ask Michael Hopkins, village attorney, put a resolution next month, opt out and see where that takes us. At that time, I know Michael. No, I just want to make sure.
Yeah.
No, I think that, I think it's time that we have to get an agreement one way or another. So I'm sitting here and I've listened to both sides for a little while. I pretty much kept myself quiet on it. I'm not saying that anybody has the decisions made, but I think we should explore them. I can put it on the calendar one way or another, because I believe by the end of the day we have to do something. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure a couple of people think we've all been reading stuff. I'm sure everybody on the
I
board,
understand.
they might not read every word or something, but they've been reading pretty heavily.
Right, okay.
Critically important. If there is no affirmative action to opt out, by default, you've opted in. If you opt out at a later point in time, a month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, you can look at what other municipalities who have passed the local law, see how it's working, see what it looks like, and you can always opt in at a later point in time. Because anybody who's been studying this, and several of us have done a ton of work, there was just a great many questions. We were talking about the licenses before. We simply don't know what to do. We have the licenses.
We don't know.
We simply don't know. Part of the criticism of the law is that you simply don't know the answer to so many questions.
Both arguments are very compelling, and I'm just sitting here and I think that we have to do something about it. If that means it's going to be an open hearing, and people are going to have to close the contest, so be it. That's what happens, right, Mike? At that point. And that'll be your
As
opportunity.
far as the law goes, I know nothing about the law, as you said. But I do know about quality of life.
And like I said, it can open up in plenty of other places, doesn't need to be Valley Stream. If that's what they choose to do, you know, God bless, you know what I'm saying? We're not a village that is starving for a beautiful downtown area. We have most retail shops are occupied. And Mr. Thomas said, do we want those stores moving elsewhere? Because now we have unsavory people hanging out and smoking a joint in front of the shop where they're buying it. I mean, it's legal in New York State. So the question is not the legality, or not if you want to get high all day and have a great life and woo, you know, more power to you. The question is, do we want people on the avenue or in our village hanging out of a cannabis place and getting high in public, which would be totally legal? And is that what we want after church on a Sunday, going to Mitchell's or going to Ickens? Or is that what we want here? That's the question. I don't care about you getting high. I don't care how much money you're gonna make. That's your business. I care about the place that I live and love. That's what I care about. That's what the question is to me. It's not about the law. Don't know the law. Not about people making money or people getting high. That's your life. You do what you want. If you want to smoke joint all day, get high all day, and whatever you want to do, that's up to you. Why you're choosing Valley Stream is beyond me. Well, like you said, there's plenty of other places you could choose. Don't know why it has to be in this place, which is beautiful. That's my comment. So if we have another chance to revisit this, or even if we can put it on a public ballot and see how the residents feel, the residents that live here. Why should we have people come from outside? I don't know where any of them come from. I'm not saying they don't live here. But why should we have people that just look at this as a business opportunity, like the young man said? This is a great business opportunity for young people. My husband is Hispanic from Guatemala. I don't feel he's suppressed, my kids are suppressed if we don't open up a marijuana shop. You know what I mean? So this doesn't have to do with young people getting a job or anything else. My daughter-in-law and my son-in-law from Guyana, you know, like the UN. None of us agree with changing the way the village is right now. You know, none of us. It's you know, it's, for me, it's quality of life. It's not about business. It's not about people getting high. And maybe the public should have a referendum if you guys, you know, are not sure, or you don't want to really take responsibility one way or the other, because you don't want people getting mad at you, you know.
Thank you again, Ms. Piano. We appreciate it. But just want to remind everybody, you know, there's not a debate or a hearing right now. We're trying, you know, just at the end of our regular meeting. But I do want to make sure the rest of the board gets heard, even though it's just a discussion. I do want to mention quickly that I believe it's at Tino's here, we've been getting aboard pretty much perpetual emails. David, if you step up for a second. David has been sending us perpetual information and emails, pros and cons, the law, et cetera, et cetera. He's been working full-time getting us the information. So I want to give David an opportunity to address a few items. Again, just to remind the audience at Zoom and here, this is not a public hearing. There is no vote. There is no resolution. This is the board trying to educate themselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Rhonda, you're on one. Can you hear me? I can talk loud even if you can't hear me there. I just wanted to clarify whether or not people are going to smoke marijuana really has no issue with this board because the law now permits that. So the real debate that this board is weighing is whether or not to permit retail dispensaries and or on-site consumption establishments or licenses. Another thing I just wanted to fill Trustee Thomas in on is that in answer to your question about California, the local control in time, place, and manner, which the MRTA permits or gives that power to local municipalities, can severely restrict the number of establishments that could locate here. So if you're worried, even if the licenses were 1,000 in Maxwell County, right? I'm just exaggerating here. If you're worried that, a whole entire commercial district or multiple businesses we pushed out by these establishments, we have that power to control it, given our time, place, and manner, which is your zoning regulation. So there's a lot more control that's built into this than I think people realize. And, in the resident's point about local business, we need local business to support our tax base. We need local business to support our nonprofits. I was once a small business, and you need people making those investments and making those investments early. So that's just a little bit more filler for the conversation. Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Get home safe.